What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Chiefin With Daily Dale. I'm your host, Dale Fowler, along with my partner Lonnie. How you doing today, bro?
Good, good.
Good. Man, you ready to dive into these topics today? We
Yeah,
just had a heated debate.
yeah. We ready to get to it. I'm ready to get to it for sure. This is gonna be a good one.
Yeah,
This is gonna be a good one for sure. Let's tune in.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
y'all.
You are.
Let's go. Let's go.
Bet. So definitely gonna dive into some Chiefs camp talk. We have recently seen a couple clips throughout the camp that has been going on right now. As we know, of course, only the quarterbacks and rookies there, but we had some vet guys show up as well. So we're gonna dive into that. Also, we're gonna talk about Wanya Morris and the back and forth argument that he had with Felix and Duque Uzma, our K State first round draft pick that we got defensive end. They recently had an argument at a press conference that Wanya Morris was having after practice. So we're gonna definitely dive into that. See what we can. See what happens with that. Go a little bit more into that. Also, we're going to talk about the recent updates about Pacheco and Wharton. We both know, we all know that they're supposed to be entering that pub list, and but however, Pacheco says he's ready to go. He should be ready to go once the season start. And also, we're going to talk about Justyn Ross and get into some Travis Kelsey talk with route running. All right. So, Lonnie, like I said, day one of Chiefs camp had some interesting moments. One that stood out the most was Rasheed Rice puking at practice, but he says that he loves to work himself to that extent. But and he also said that it means he's not working hard enough. So, what do you take from that statement? And keep in mind, he also caught a touchdown pass from Patrick Mahomes at camp as well, too.
Yeah, so I think he's just like all the rest of the greats or the good elite athletes that we've seen before. All elite athletes that are willing to put themselves and push themselves into the limit of exhaustion. Are usually the great ones, the Kobe Bryants of the world. Kobe
Hmm.
Bryant was one to do that. Michael Jordan was one to do that. So you see this a lot from athletes that are just willing to be great. Rasheed did say like this is how far he's willing to go in camp. He said
Hmm.
he also did, I think, did this at SMU camp. So this is something that he's very very familiar with. He was just more just getting the reporters more acquainted with it. Like this is gonna happen. I'm gonna do this. This is how willing I'm far I'm willing to go to get myself into football shape to be ready for the season. I think that shows that he's a pro too. Like this is a guy that's ready to go. That came out of SMU as a senior and played ball and really show what he can do and is ready to go. That has a pro mindset. It shows what type of wide receiver you're getting. So I don't want to say I like it because no one wants to see anybody puke, but I like to see that just to show that he has that mentality. He's ready to go. He's locked in. He's willing to push himself to the limit of exhaustion. Because you have to be able to think to that point. And as football players, we know me and you. The people throw up all the time in conditioning the camp. You're doing a lot. You're running a lot. You're running hills, bear crawls. You're doing a whole bunch of stuff. Rolling barrel rolls. So like flipping tires. Whatever you're
Whole
doing,
thing.
just you're pushing yourself to the limit of exhaustion. Just because you're going to be in situations in the football game where you're not going to be able to think. You're going to have to just react. So you want to get your body in a reactionary state and just being exhausted. So and that's how far you have to go sometimes. So it's really good to see, and it lets me know that he's a pro. He's ready to go.
I love it. I don't see why it's some people are over exaggerating about it. I think very few are, taking it to that extent. But I like the mentality of saying that you're not working hard enough. That shows that he's trying to get to the best health he can, have that that stamina, and also just have that ability to be able to keep up, especially when the season go on, because we know throughout there are going to be some games where it comes down to the end. It's going to come down to being durable and healthy and having that energy to keep on going and push farther. So for him to do that right now, that's definitely great, especially in that Missouri heat as well too, especially with the humidity out there in St. Joe, the sun beaming down on you, having to have more water breaks, having to take a break, get a breather. Sometimes it's going to take you to the point of where you're going to be throwing up what you have intake that morning or even that afternoon, depending on what part of practice that happened. However, this is not something that is unfamiliar at an Andy Reid camp. He had the same issues in Philadelphia as well too with some players. It's just he works you to the point to where you're going to be able to be ready to go once the season starts, because in his offense, or even on the defensive side as well too, he has that mindset of preparing for those teams that likes to keep it going. They are more in a hurry up mode. They're trying to get you out of your rhythm. So you being up to par in that area is going to help you go farther and be prepared for those moments throughout. So I think it's good that he's working himself to that. And I also heard some things as well too. The really what the difference of that is, I'm in college, they were more in a control environment. Some of those teams have those inside facilities as well too. I think Chiefs are one of the few teams that when they go to training camp, they go out to St. Joseph and they're practicing on the
Strictly
field
outside, yeah.
out there outside. So you know, having to do that, they're getting acclimated to the weather that they're going to be playing in the season, because the start of the season, it's still fall. However, you're going to be going to other climates where, the sun is out beaming, depending on the time of day that you're playing. He just making sure that they're at that point to where once the season starts, they're going to be good to go, and they're going to be ready for that. So I'm glad that he's getting that experience, and I think he won't have this problem going forward as well too, because I think he will be more prepared, knowing that, okay, this is how the camp is going to be. So I like it. I think it was interesting to talk about, because we hear that a lot at his camps, right? And for him being a rookie, someone we are expecting to come in and make an impact, immediately, faster than others that we have seen before when we drafted him in the second round. I think he's understanding. I think he's understanding what he has to come this upcoming season. I think he understands that he has a role that is built for him, especially with Juju Smith-Schuster leaving, and him being able to be that X receiver who's more of a possessive wide receiver who we can send over the middle to take those hits. Also, someone who can pinpoint the ball as well too when Mahomes has to throw it up. I think he fits that style for what we are needing in the offense. So for him to work himself to that extent, I'm glad he's having that mentality of being prepared right now, because we know that Andy, depending on the position, he doesn't hesitate to rush and put his rookies out there if he feels that you're not meeting the standards that he needs in that offense right now. Now, he will build some things around you to get comfortable to try to put you out there, because he know it's important and it's imperative to, get one of the better guys that they went for in the draft, especially early on in the draft, out on the field. So just Rice, I would say keep that mentality, keep on pushing hard. As the days go on, it gets better. You get adapted to it, and then it's going to be easier to overcome those situations when you're extremely tired. So I like it. I love it. That means he's doing something. If he's out there being lazy, just jogging, I think that's a bigger problem than what we are seeing right now. He could possibly be out of shape. You got to remember, these guys has been out of football since college January. For the NFL February. So they got to enjoy their summer break, enjoy their time off before they get back to work. Of course, they was doing some work throughout the off season, but it's different when you come into the team facility and you're practicing as a whole, because the coaches don't care what you did in the off season. That means whatever you did in the off season, you should be ready to go to camp when you get here anyway. So they're going to go based off their schedule and what they feel needs to be done, and if that's going to be conditioning, that's a part of the schedule for the day. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that they are getting that work, and they're really pushing themselves to that extreme. But I like it. I love it.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. I think this is really a good sign for Kansas City. They have someone who is very focused on coming into the season and making an impact and doing something for this organization and try to lead them to another Super Bowl. And he has the chance to play with Patrick Mahomes, prove himself as one of the top receivers in the league, hopefully, depending on how he does his upcoming season. But he's going into that season with that mentality. So
Yeah.
I love it. We definitely need that type of presence on the offense and in the team in general. That's a player that has the mindset of going out there and winning the championship. Because when you're coming into Kansas City, that you're always going into that second part of the season in the
And,
postseason playing
and
for a
he's in
Super
a
Bowl.
And he's in a room that's loaded. That room is loaded. So if
That
you're not at the top of
exactly.
your game, and we was talking about it off air, if you're not at the top of your game, it's gonna show. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, somebody got to go. And
And
Rasheed was a hot pick, but he wasn't. I don't know. He wasn't a first round pick. So
he wasn't the first round, but he had a good season
he did have a
at
good
SMU.
season.
He had over
So
1,400 yards
so it
receiving,
was like
so he was an
you gotta
impact.
you're gonna have to earn that spot in there. So
Exactly.
it's a lot of dogs in that room.
Yeah, and like you said, it's a loaded room in which you having a chance of going out there right now and getting a step ahead of those players that will be coming in tomorrow on Friday. That's going to prepare you once they get out there to where you're looking like you're on their level as well too. You're not the odd man out because these guys were familiar with the system from last year. Of course, they're doing their off-season drills as well too and getting prepared for the upcoming camp. However, you had a chance to be out there and be in team practices already and build that connection with Patrick Mahomes. You got to remember guys like Scott Moore. Yeah, he has had a great offseason, and he's looked at as someone who's supposed to be stepping up as well too. And he has been doing some work with Patrick Mahomes as well too, out in Texas and also back here as well. However, just being there already, having that bond on day one because the quarterbacks is out there with the rookies that first day anyway. I think it's going to give him the advantage of like, we already been doing this during our practices before they came. So when he's out there, Patrick Mahomes is going to be like, okay, if this guy's not open when they're going through their dreams and their drills and the team scrimmage, it's be like, okay, I had that connection with Rasheed Rice already. We've been doing this throughout camp the first couple days. Now, when it comes to where the starters is here and the starters on defense and the starters on offense there, and he's running reps with them as well too, he's able to show his skill set in a quicker fashion than others to where like, okay, all right, the rookie out there putting in work already on the day when the veterans in going against that first team defense. It's like, okay, we can see some of this upcoming season because if you're performing against them, they think you can perform against others. So it's like, go ahead and put yourself ahead of others right now. And I love that. So we'll see more to come. Definitely day one was fun for him. It was, interesting. A lot of things happened. But I think he's going to build off that and he's going to have a pretty decent camp. So the headline kind of scared you at first. It said he had a rough day at practices. You think he's missing a couple catches or anything like that? Nah, it was just him throwing up. Okay, he's working himself to that extent.
And he smiled. He smiled in the press conference.
Yeah,
He was fine. He was fine. He was good. He was just saying that's how far he goes. He said, "Don't be surprised." And we know we from the great players, you're not surprised. This is, and like he said, this is an Andy Reid camp. He said you're running like a 4x4 sprinting team. They're running like a track team. So like, don't be surprised if more guys throw up.
Right. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to our next topic. Wanya Morris and Felix Ndike, excuse me, Uzama. Sorry about that. Sorry if I screwed up your name, Felix. I just go by Felix going forward. But they had a back and forth argument at the Morris press conference. Felix talked about his sack against Morris, and Morris stated that he also likes to hit people. So Lonnie, what do you take from that conversation? Of course, that was friendly banner back and forth from the teammates, especially with them guys playing in the Big 12 against each other.
It was
Morris
fun.
played at Oklahoma. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
He played at Morris played at Oklahoma, and then Felix at K-State. So they had some great games as well too. So what's your thoughts about that? Do you think Morris could eventually end up starting sometime this season?
Now I don't. Now as far as Morris starting this season, I don't see that happening. Just because he's coming into a room that's loaded. And it's like you got Donovan Smith, Jawan Taylor, Lucas Niang.
You hoping that line hit?
Yeah, you just hoping. You just hoping that you hoping that he can sneak in there somewhere. Wanya can, but you're banking on a lot of that experience there. But we have seen rookies come in and do this before to the likes of Trey Smith, to the likes of Creed Humphrey. So we have seen rookies come in and be NFL ready in Andy Reid's system and come in and play immediately. Now I'm just saying, as far as that tackle position, you kind of want experience in that position, being that we just lost Andrew Wiley and Orlando Brown going on the Super Bowl run, two guys that we had for 2 years. They knew the system. You just kind of want more of experience. You want some more seasoning around the seasoned quarterback. He's going into year 7. You want him to know that protection is there. You kind of don't want a guy oversetting or really not knowing what's going on. You kind of want to lean on that vet. But now that's not to say that if the play declines in any of those veterans that we won't see Wanya. If he just is out, if he just outshines them at the tackle position. But there's a lot of depth at that tackle position. This is another position I feel like we're going to have a good battle at. This is something that we're going to have to watch during camp. because if he is, we'll see how good Wanya is. We'll see how good the Beach staff is. And trusting those draft picks, right, that we talk about so much. So we'll see if they found another diamond in the rough with Wanya Morris. I know they tried to hit with Dennis Kennard. A lot of people said they missed with that pick, but I think we're still yet to see. We can give Kennard some more time. And even Lucas Niang, you go back to that 3 years ago, he started. He beat Andrew Wiley out. He beat Andrew Wiley out for that position, Dale. And we were there. We noticed that, and him and Orlando Brown started all the way into that Cincy game until he ruptured his patella. Andrew Wiley won that job back, and then unfortunately continued to have that job and excelled at it and won a Super Bowl at it, and ended up going on to get another job in Washington. So Lucas is a guy that was there, that we spoken about before when he got drafted. That went up against Chase Young, not Stonewall Chase Young, but definitely got some recognition from Chase Young, a pat on the back. So from a top tier pass rusher. So this is a guy that has been there, done that too as well, and he has some experience. So that's why I'm just saying Wanya's in a room full of dogs, and hopefully we're going to see if the cream rises to the crop with Wanya or not, or if he just has to, if he's more a developmental guy like Lucas was.
Honestly, we talked about this before as well too. I think it could be a possibility that he can end up starting sometime this season, just because we know Donovan Smith is honestly, he's on a hot seat, even though we gave him that contract, but we gave him a 1-year deal. And he's an older left tackle as well, too. Morris is learning from him as well, too. He actually stated that as well. He's been learning a lot, and he's been picking up some things that he can be able to utilize for years to come as well, too, once he gets that chance to go out there. We know Jawan Taylor, we gave him that 4-year deal worth $80 million, and with some talk about him moving over to that left tackle position. Even next year, if Donovan Smith does good, we able to get a Super Bowl after that. But I think their goal is to get him over there. And Wanya Morris is more of a right tackle, correct? I think he's flexible. He can play on that left side as well too. But I think the goal will be to eventually get Taylor to the left and then get Wanya Morris to the right. Now, I understand Lucas Niang is out there. He was a 2nd-round pick. I understand that, but he has dealt with some serious injuries. He was out for a couple seasons as well too. He was out the season before, and then he was out the season he ended up starting, and then he lost his spot to Wiley, like we said. So he's battling within himself. I think that's a mental battle for him, because what he's going through and how he's going to be able to tough that out. Morris, all I think he needs to do is succeed and just be able to beat some guys throughout camp, win his one-on-ones, then also try to fit himself into those team drills and team scrimmages as well too, to where he has had some effective blocks and or ending up being able to block guys like Felix or George to where he's preventing snap and he's dominating at that position, and where it's like, okay, I could see something going there. Now, it all banks on if Smith comes out lackluster and just not playing to the ability that we think he can play at. That's to where Patrick Mahomes is getting sacked a lot. He's facing a lot of pressure due to Smith's lack of ability being able to stop those opposing pass rushers. I think if that's the case, that's when you can potentially see Morris coming in there. Now, I understand that people are kind of upset about Darian Kennard. We felt like he can eventually become that right tackle, but they say he's been looking good in the interior, being a guard. However, they forget he's a 5th-round pick, so he was a project player off rip anyway. It's only a few diamonds in a rough like Trey Smith, who we were able to get in the 6th round, and he became an immediate starter already, right? Because we thought Kyle Long was going to end up being in that position for 1 year. Trey Smith beat him out. We're going to see what happens in this upcoming camp, but I'm just saying it's a possibility that he can't start. Now, I think you're saying that, when you're saying that, are you putting Lucas Niang above him before getting those reps before he's able to get in there? That's why you think we won't be able to see him this year?
And that's exactly what I'm doing now. And I feel like he'll get the reps. And I feel like Donovan Smith and those guys are definitely going to get a nod, right? Because they already been getting in the rotation. They was getting in the rotation during OTAs. I feel like Lucas is going to have to show, not Lucas, but Wanya is going to have to show like, okay, I can get in here and you know, even kind of hang with these guys, and even that going into year 7, I don't the question marks at tackle. I don't think they unless you know it's a surefire first rounder.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you putting him out there on the island with Patrick Mahomes, and the first time he takes a sack, Brett V, that'll be like the first notch and nick in the armor for them picks that he was deciding to hold on to, because
Mm-hmm.
you have to those type of when you draft those type of guys, and Brett Veach has a resume of drafting the first round guys that are coming in. These guys are they NFL ready,
Mm-hmm.
so you have to you got to kind of keep that sustain that. So I don't think he didn't go tackle, and I feel like Wanya he was where he was for a reason. But that's no offense to Wanya because he's still a great tackle,
Mm-hmm.
and he was on that line with Creed, so he's just as smart.
I
So
just I just feel his men.
I just don't think he's gonna get that. Like you said, those reps over Lucas. I think Lucas is gonna get a shot for sure. Lucas has the ability to possibly be out one of those guys that they signed for sure
They
because
think
he
he could be a
knows
left tackle.
the system. I feel like Lucas's body build is a little different, right? I feel like we know the tackle for Andy Reid's system. Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz were like the model tackles for the system. Like
They were tall. They
off
didn't
the
look
snap,
yeah,
they weren't as
quick.
really as quicker. So like it fit them. So we haven't had traditional tackles like that since we had Orlando Brown, and then Wiley kind of fit that, but
And Orlando Brown really didn't match with that because
he didn't
he didn't
match
have
with
quick
that.
feet.
Yeah, he
You see,
was
that's why
more
he had some struggles.
he was more of a run blocking guy, Escalade guy.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the thing is with Morris, I think his mentality fits with that offensive line because we got dogs like Trey Smith, you got dogs like Creed Humphrey. Thuney is now he's not being looked at as an underrated guard. It looks like he's getting his love in that position as well too, being the number 2 best guard in the league, right? So I think, matching with that mentality of guys who likes to maul people, they really are about, getting physical and putting a body on someone and make sure protected Patrick Mahomes. I think that fits what we want because if you got a guy like Juwan Taylor, who has been really improving within himself ever since he got into the league, he got better each year and coming to the style of what he's doing right now, especially with the because with the conditioning that he has been doing as well too, keeping up with his body and also being someone who's very physical and strong, I think that would be the perfect offensive line. I just really think that would be the perfect offensive line. If Jawan Taylor able to prove that he's able to, be able to be flexible and move over to that left side and be dominant as well too, I'd love to see a Jawan Taylor, Thoney, Creed, Trey, and Wanya Morris. I think it's just the attitude and the nastiness of it. I'm 100% sure that you're not going to see Patrick Mahomes on the ground all the time. I feel that.
That's what we gotta have. And that's what it
Yeah.
has to be. Going into year 7, he's dealt with all these injuries, ankle injuries last year. You don't want him on the ground. He needs to stay clean.
And I think Niang kind of pushed himself out because I was actually an advocate for Niang, especially when he dealt with that first injury as well. So I was like, this is a guy that they like. They got him in the second round. They said he
I,
has the potential to be a left tackle.
absolutely.
Get out there immediately.
When
I
he
loved
beat
it.
out Wiley for that job that year, we
Yeah.
knew he was that dude. It was something that they
But
thought
he
about
did
him.
have
They was
struggles
like
in the beginning of the season, though. He did give up a couple
a
tackles for
little bit,
pressure,
but
but
then he
he
figured
got
it
better
out.
each game. Yeah.
Exactly.
But
Because
it's just,
we played the Chargers down the stretch. He was playing
yeah.
that game. That
But
game
see,
that Kelsey has
yeah.
the iconic walk off.
Yeah.
Lucas is playing that game. He plays that game.
But I will say this: this is something we stress on here all the time on the podcast on Chiefin with Daily Dale. Availability is the best ability. So, and that's what's keeping me from thinking that he's going to be available, and that's why I think Wanya Morris will have that chance. That's the only reason why I think he's not going to be available when we need it. And the thing is, too, along with that, say if he get hurt as well too. But then you got Donovan Smith who's balling out as well. You're not going to see the field at all if he ends up balling out. And we hoping for that. That's why went out and got him because he was a veteran guy. We got somebody that we can just plug into the system where we can still be one of the best offenses in the league and have one of the best offensive line if he plays up to his level and then also stays healthy as well too. Then we can avoid that. So we'll see. I love it. Like I said, I feel like he can end up being a starter, but we will see. The episode now, diving into our next topic. Pacheco and Wharton are the two Chiefs players expected to be on the pup list. Pacheco, however, was doing reps and one-on-one drills, but had a yellow jersey on that resembles non-contact. So, do you think this is something that the Chiefs will worry about going into the season? He just recently had a surgery on his torn labrum and also a broken hand. But we did hear him in his press conference talk about that he feels like he's going to be ready to go. He feels the best ever. He's definitely healing up, but he thinks he feels like he's going to be a threat this year. So, what's your thoughts about that, Lonnie?
Yeah, so I think Pop still will be effective. I mean, he still has that same energy that he always had, that he had as a rookie. I feel like that's just him. That's just the energy that he's going to bring. It's infectious. I hope it spills over into these new rookies. That's Pop. That's who he is. That's Pacheco. I feel like he's ready to go. If he said he's ready to go, I trust him. We didn't see too much of him in the offseason, but I figured that was because he was healing from the injuries. He did work with the staff closely on getting back to full strength, so he's still working close with him. So I feel like he'll be fine and he'll be ready to go. We can trust that. This is the first time we're going to see him coming off an injury. We've never seen this before, so we don't have a reason not to trust him. We don't know
Mm-hmm.
his resume. This is his first time. He's a rookie. This is his first time battling back from an injury, so we're going to see if there's any keeks or any rust there. I'm pretty sure, but he'll knock it off pretty fast. Pop is the guy that I feel like he's a work. He's gonna chop. He's gonna chop wood, like he said. Keep chopping. He's gonna work, work, work. You've seen how he was as a rookie. So if he keeps that same mentality and the way he goes about handling his business, I feel like he'll be fine. I feel like he's gonna he'll be all right. He'll be the starter. He'll get his spot back, but we're gonna see. I feel like this gives a shot to Clyde, right? We were just recently talking about Clyde and not maybe him not having as many opportunities as he should have, or him kind of being slighted. But I feel like this opens up a door and opens up a position for him to come in and kind of just take that spot back, put a stronghold there, and show that he is reliable. He's someone that they can still rely on. He's still a big piece in this offense. That he knows the offense. He's seasoned within the offense, so. I feel like this is a moment for Clyde, a chance for Clyde to seize his moment and kind of put his mark on training camp as well.
You know, I think he's going to be for sure ready to go by the season. What I'm more worried about is will he be able to keep that health throughout, because those injuries can become nagging to a sense, right? There can be some things that could be like, I might need to sit out this week. And this is a player who actually played all 17 games last season as well too, including the playoffs. So he played all 20. So I just think dealing with that, it's tough, but I think he's going to be fine. He mentally, he's prepared for this. He's someone that can fight through anything. And what we saw last season, I know he wants to be the first 1,000 yards running back that we had since 2017 with Kareem Hunt. That's been 6 seasons. So with him having 830 yards last year on the ground, and he ended up starting like mid-season. That's phenomenal for someone who came in and took that role and was able to exceed and excel in that role as well too. So this, like we said, this is the first time he's dealt with this before at an NFL level, and we're going to see how it goes. But it's good that he took care of his body in the offseason. He went ahead and got the surgery that he needed done. He also had a broken hand as well too, so that's tough. And I think throughout the camp as well, they said that he's been doing pretty good. He's been looking good in those one-on-one drills. He actually took some handoffs from Patrick Mahomes as well too. He has been looking solid, so he should be fine. I think right now they're just playing it safe, making sure that he's avoiding that. And I like that he came out there as well too with the rookies to just get acclimated and get ready for camp that's coming up. That shows that he's focusing on being mentally prepared, and nothing is going to hold him back from trying to succeed that accolade that he would like to do this season. Now, he did say he's not being selfish. He said he would like to get it done. And he's thinking as a team player right now, like, he knows how the system is ran. We are more of a pass dominant team. However, we do give opportunities for our running backs to be able to eat, and they just got to take advantage of that. So, is there anything in particular that you feel that you have any worries about with him coming into the season, or you just perfectly okay.
So I'm not gonna say I'm perfectly okay, right? Because Pacheco didn't show that he was the greatest running back in the pass game. Um,
True.
that's really integral if you're going to be a part of this Chiefs offense, especially this modern day offense that we're running, where we're splitting guards out and throwing that ball a lot. You see, Jet came in and ended up getting a lot of those receiving touchdowns at the end of the year. I'm really going on a good run there,
He
making
had more
him,
than Justin Jefferson and
yeah,
Tyreek.
exactly, making him a real argument, giving him a real market in this offseason. Thank God we got Jet back, but yeah, I think that's the part that stands out to me. Pacheco, can you stand out and set yourself apart when it comes to the passing game? When it's time to split you out, can you be a real threat there? In those screen games, can you really work those screens and really get that game back popping for us? Because that's a game that's kind of been dead since we lost Jamal and the likes of Tyreek and those guys. So
Yep.
let's see if we can get that back, the screen game back a little bit. Just see what we can do. Like, just let's see a different side of his game. We seen the hit in the north and south, the hit in the east and west. So we seen him just be a great traditional running back, right? Even in the open field, breaking tackles, how strong he runs like he's mad. So he's a hard runner. We love it, but we want to see more of that, like not finesse, but just more of the artsy type, right? Run that route, or can you keep the play alive and be there when Mahomes is needing somebody to drop it off to, like Jet. So like that's I think that's where I think he can kind of set himself apart and really show that he made some strides to move forward in different ways this season.
And with him, like we said, being a pass dominant offense as well too, that broken hand, how much is that going to play a factor as well too? Even though it's healed up and he should be ready to go, right? But sometimes it takes that one little weird pass that comes and hits your hand and it can throw you off, and it throws your rhythm off, and it throws your mood off as well too. Because that's one of those type of pains to where it's like we understand how serious the ACL injury is, right? Sometimes those guys don't even notice it just based off of the adrenaline like that. But when you have something that's re-aggravated and that is something that you use throughout the entire game as well too, putting your hands on guys, blocking downfield, catching the ball like we saying per se, it's just will it be able to take that? Will it be able to sustain that? And I think that's what we're going to see in camp as well too, if it's something that's going to be nagging him throughout. Now I know he's going to be tough and he's going to be able to fight through that. That's just the type of personality that he has. But at the same time, it's just something that you think about going forward, and that's when Clyde he does have to take advantage. I know a lot of guys that think like Clyde is an odd man out next season. He's going to be the one that's released, and I was in a space yesterday that when they were talking about that, it was like Pacheco, Prince, McKinnon. They feel like they'd be able to want to go through that, and we was talking about the running back market as well too, depending on if we'll go out there next season since those guys are not getting paid. What do we feel we can bring another guy in like that can be able to come in and produce? Clyde, that's when you can kind of shut everybody up. Like, wait a minute, we got to remember McKinnon is over 30. He'll be over 30 next season. We know how it is with running backs that gets older in the league, and it's not like he has been the healthiest individual as well too. He has dealt with some injuries throughout his career, especially going through this time right now. Usually their career is done around 32, 33. He's getting up to that. So with Clyde being young, being that former first round pick, all you gotta do is go back out there to show him like this is the reason why y'all drafted me. I think everybody forget it was people talking about, we made it to the Super Bowl with Pacheco and McKinnon. We made it to the Super Bowl with Clyde too. And are we not going to forget that the Buccaneers, Bush, all those other guys on the defensive line as well too, were saying those linebackers, like Levante David, there was like they could have ran on us. They were focused on stopping the pass. They had 2 man high linebackers was playing back as well too, or they were rushing. We could have took advantage of the rushing game, especially with Clyde's size being a smaller guy who can hit those holes and get in maneuver and average around 3 to 4 yards a carry. We didn't take advantage of that. That wasn't Clyde's fault. That was a game to where it was a lot of drop passes, and we wanted to be stubborn and keep on going and keep on passing, even though we knew that this team built their defense for that game specifically to not let Patrick Mahomes dominate or those wide receivers. So it's not like he didn't do it his rookie season. It's just the injuries. Once again, that's why it's imperative for him to stay healthy and be like, hey, this is a young running back group that we should be a part of. This is what we should build off of, and then keeping a guy like Prince as well too, where we can go off of it. That will be a good running back core. Now, how likely is that to happen? I don't know, and I'm not going to even talk about that right now because I gotta see what he does when the season starts. Are you going to be able to play 17 games? I don't even think you can miss one game. Play 17 and be solid. Get back to over 1,000 yard scrimmage if you can, especially if you're someone who is making plays and being effective on the offense. Because even at the start of the season, we might were using McKinnon a lot more, and we was getting Pacheco involved in the running game, where they were all splitting the reps. However, Clyde was the one coming out the backfield catching the ball. He scored a couple touchdowns. He actually scored four touchdowns before he was injured, and that was the beginning of the season. So he could have been on pace to 10 plus, depending on how that offense was going as well too, because they were the guys who were churning, the ones who were wearing down the defense, especially with the bodies on there. And Clyde was coming in and just eating off of that and capitalizing and scoring. If we can get that for a full 17, that will be great. That will be lovely for the Kansas City offense. So I just want everybody to keep that in mind. We can keep it in the house. We don't got to worry about the running back market out there.
Yeah, we can. Clyde got to step up though. We got to see.
He got to step up. He got to step up. But let's go ahead and jump on to our next topic. You know, I've been waiting to talk about this the whole time. We got into it before we got on here, everybody. And I love Chiefs Kingdom. We love Chiefs Kingdom. I'm a part of Chiefs Kingdom. This is my.
I question your love for it sometimes. Say what you gotta say, man. Get it off your chest. Say what you gotta say.
Travis Kelce, a top 3 route runner in the league.
Fuck yes, he is. Absolutely. Absolutely. What type of question is that? Yeah, he a top 3. Yes, he's top 3. And who do you put over him? Like I said, you seen the shimmy shake that he gave Jalen Ramsey last year. You see, he doesn't get open. He's not getting open. It's not all just by design. He's just getting open. No, he's running routes. He's routing people up. That's how he's getting open constantly. How does Devontae get open all the time? It's no way you have consecutive 30-yard seasons and 1,000-yard seasons and you're not getting and you're not running crisp or good routes. That just don't make sense to me.
Okay.
Like I said, they split.
You got it. You got the book, and I'm going to go.
They split him out like a wide receiver. You split him out wide like a wide receiver. You stand him up. You stand him up damn near 80% of the time. So he's running routes like a wide receiver. He's not even running routes like a tight end.
I'm not saying he's not running routes like a wide receiver.
What did he do to Matt? Like I said, what did he do to Matt Milano in the divisional game? He routed him. Out and up. You seen it.
All right. That's all you're going to lead off with? Because we just going to go into it. Forget it. All right, I got you. So this is why he's not a top 3 route runner in the league. And I'm going to tell you why. I think we confuse with getting open with actually elite route running ability. Now, I know he has the ability of really routing someone and also being able to get off the ball as well too, and make himself get open, especially in those certain packages that the defense run against him. However, we didn't see it, and we didn't see it on the quarterback series as well too, where him and Mahomes had that connection. He's not even really running the real route. It's okay. It's like he out there playing backyard football. He's letting the wide receivers around him go throughout their route trees, make a play out of that, make a play design, get those DBs and other guys who's in coverage as well too, in position and feel like, that they have everyone covered. I feel like Kelce is a guy, you see how he comes out the ball. Sometimes he's not even rushing. What he does is he's just analyzing the field. I'm going to give him his IQ. He knows the coverages that are going on, and he knows how to anticipate what the defender's going to do as well too. But at the same time, when he's a short intermediate route individual, and within them routes, all you're doing is either 5 and outs, slants, finding open space in the middle of the field. He just knows where Patrick Mahomes is going to go with the ball, and he understands what the defenders. He understands how the defenders is trying to defend him as well too. I respect that. But when I'm looking at guys like Justin Jefferson, Keenan Allen, Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, I look at their footwork, and I also look at how deep their route tree is well too. They have a
You're
lot of
looking at, and
ways
I
to
feel
get
like you're
open,
looking at traditional wide receivers.
and I
You're
am,
not. That's what you're trying to. You're trying to, and
and I
you
am.
can. You can do that, but I'm saying you need to put Travis in there too. Just because
But
Travis didn't sign
but
him, just because Travis didn't sign Ingram, the Ingram deal, the same dude in Jacksonville that signed a wide receiver tight end slash type deal. Just because he didn't sign that deal doesn't mean he's not used like that and he's not running routes that's
But
just
I'm
as
not
good
saying
and just as
I'm
crisp
not
as
saying
those
he's not like
guys.
that. I'm not saying he's not like that because of that deal. Because Travis Kelsey, the reason why he has the deal that he has is because he's someone who is team friendly. He understands the moment that he's in right now. He wants to play with Patrick Mahomes, his best friend. He wants to win championships. He understands what the market is. We already see him talk about that. Nobody even putting that on him. I don't care about that. The thing is, I think we confuse sometimes. I understand because they intertwine in a way. I get it, but getting open is different from route running. It is how you're able to play a guy that is following you throughout the whole route. These guys are also playing against number one receivers the whole game because they are elite at their position. So those guys are following them throughout the whole time. I'm talking about not only the Jalen Ramses of the world, but we got the Xavier Howards. We got we got multiple guys out there, that's balling out right now. The Stephon Gilmore's, who has
Sauce
been known to be
Gardner's.
unlocked. Sauce Gardner's defense. That's defense rookie of the year. And these guys are cooking these guys at times. Like Devontae Adams, we saw what he did against us in Kansas City. He went over 100 yards each game, regardless of how garbage the Raiders are.
And
He
that's
went over
all I'm
100
saying.
yards
You
with us
see
with a
what
backup.
Travis Kelsey does to everybody else's defense, though.
I
And
do, and I do.
that's where I think you're slighting him at, and you're not giving
I'm
him enough
not.
respect. And that's why I want to take your Kansas City card. But you all right, it's good.
How
I'll
you
let the
gonna take
people
my
do it.
Kansas City car?
Because
I've been. No,
because
you'll never do that.
because
You'll never do
because
that.
look,
You'll never do that.
he
You never do
knows and
that.
it's no, and I'm not trying to be a homer, y'all. Y'all can
You
look,
are.
y'all can decide. Jay Jettis is a hell of a route runner. And Jamar is a hell of
He's
a route
very
runner.
good, bro.
Tay
He's
is a
very
hell of a
good.
route runner. But we got to give it to Trav. It's no way that you put up those numbers. Look at Trav's numbers. No way you put up those numbers and you not a
Okay, you
hell of
gonna
a
talk
route
about
runner.
numbers? Look at their
And I
numbers.
and I understand. And I'm
Jay
not even
Jettis had
okay. We can
over
take it away
600
from
more
the
yards
numbers.
than him.
We can look at the film
Stephon Diggs have
too.
out over
You look what he did to
200 plus
Jalen
more yards than
Ramsey.
him.
Jalen Ramsey, the nigga, the dude we was just
What?
taking our hat off to. The person we was just taking our hat off to.
What about Jay Jettis?
I said Jalen Ramsey. I said, you see what he was just doing to Jalen
Yeah.
Ramsey? He didn't get a chance to give Sauce a look yet, but he give Sauce some sauce too. He give it out to everybody. Everybody, safeties and corners get it. Travis getting it to everybody. I just don't think you be noticing. I don't think you notice.
No, I don't think they guard him like we think we guard him. I think he's a focus in the defense. Let me not say that because y'all gonna get frustrated, man, like that. They are focused on Travis Kelsey when he out there on the field. I understand that, but I think where defense is still messed up at, it's no, like I'm not even taking nothing away from him, but when you do see him open that time, it's somewhat of a miscommunication every time. It's like, oh, they should have had him right here because he across the middle like that, 2 or 3 yards behind, and they realize it. I didn't see times Jalen Ramsey, and we saw Darren James as well too, to where they lined up with him and he won that battle. I'm not gonna lie, he plays like a wide receiver. He has that ability. It's just he's in the tight end position as well too, where he's one of the elite tight ends in the league. But I wouldn't really consider him the best route runner in the league. It's just I don't think his route tree is as significant as the other guys. I think they do a lot more and they go into more into their craft about that. And I think Travis Kelsey, he works on his craft of route running as well too. It's his game. It's just something that I feel that we gotta separate from what we're seeing with when we were comparing the guys right here. And it's nothing against him because it's just I don't know how to explain it. It's a different type of elite level. You get what I'm saying? Like the ability of getting open, I love it. I don't care. I would say you're one of the best guys to get open in the league, regardless. He is. But when I'm looking at route running, I am looking at your feet. I am looking at the moves that you're doing to get off the line. I am looking at how crisp you are on your cuts. You know, Kelsey cuts is not as crisp, but they're good. They're great. I'm not gonna lie. But when I look at those guys especially in the games that they're going against us as well too. Keenan Allen. He's the only person I know that talks stuff about our DBs every time he cooks them, and he cooks them every time. He cooks them every time. Every time.
And you have a point,
And
and that's what I said. Don't get it misconstrued. And
it's like,
excuse
and he's not even that fast. You know how they are with the wide receivers in the league now with speed and wanting to get off the line, have that advantage. He doesn't need that. It's literally just, you don't even know I'm about to go out this way. It's how his body is positioned to where Kelsey's, but it's weird, man. I can't say he got that little shimmy where it throws him off, and I love it. But I just don't think it's as crisp. And I feel like people are basking in the moment of the Super Bowl right now, especially with the hype he had throughout, because we lost Tyreek Hill, and it's like, oh, it really is Travis Kelce. Yes, it really is Travis Kelce. He's on another level. He's different.
He sets himself apart.
But when you put in the whole route running tree, it's different because I feel we can put him in the bed. We can put him in top 3, top 5 for best intermediate short route though. But these guys have best intermediate short, and they have a package with the deep routes as well too. Be able to get open, be able to finesse on those post routes, be able to really throw the defender off not knowing where they're going with the scheme and how it's ran. I think they have that different type of bag to them, because I'm going to give my respect to the receiver position. We know what tight ends is looked at as guys who are basically secondary linemen, but who can go out there and catch balls and get touchdowns as well too. Travis Kelce, he eliminated that. Put us in the receiver category. We're like that. We can do that as well too. We're just bigger, and we're more valuable to the scheme if you really put us in there the right way. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can block, we can get off the ball, we can run routes as well too. It's just I feel like I could just name a lot of guys above him.
Yeah.
With a deeper bag to where it's not offensive to him, because this is what they work on every day.
And he works it too. But I get what you're saying. That's what I said. And it's no offense, and I'm sorry if I'm trying to keep.
He gotta go. He gotta go do routes too, right? But he gotta go over there to learn how to you gotta learn the different blocking schemes as well too, because sometimes he's gonna put his hand in the ground. We know more often. Honestly, we can say the better, more percentage he is standing up and running the routes. But he also someone who has to play on the line of scrimmage as well too, block on certain times, maybe even when there is like a passing down, to where he's one of those guys that slip out in a flat to where he's a blanket for Patrick Mahomes. But he has to go over to those positional drills as well too to get that together. These guys are literally going through the route tree the whole time, at practice, during the team scrimmage, throughout all of that. It's just I don't.
Yeah, but Trav still finds a way to get open.
You taking that away. You really disrespect him in a way, bro.
No, I'm not disrespecting them, but it's I said, I try to keep it PG-13. I didn't mean to go big F word at the beginning, like Mahomes, but I'm sorry about that. But I do gotta go to bat for Trav, man, and I feel like he is.
I'm gonna go to bat.
He's doing it. He's doing it better. He's doing it better than a lot of guys, and better than a lot of wide receivers right now. Doing it bigger and better. And doing it against great talent too, and it's showing. He showed it on film. Y'all could watch the Travis Kelce highlights, and then you tell me that you find one where he's not routing somebody. But I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that.
Tyreek Hill wasn't even in that top 9 list that I saw on there, and he's top 3 receiver in the league.
He's top 3, but he's not a top 3 route runner. He's fast.
Exactly.
That's what separates. That's the only thing.
That's why Kelce don't gotta be a top 3 route runner, and he's not over those guys.
And I'm saying it would be different. It'd be different if Travis was playing like Gronk and he was using his body to make all of them catches. Dale, he's not. That's what you're trying to make it seem. That's what you're trying to make it seem like. He's not using his body. He's not big. Ooh, I'm Gronk over the middle. Look, crush me. Ooh, me Gronk run my face.
That's not good route running to me.
Gronk fight touchdown.
Gronk was never a top 3 route runner as well.
He wasn't. That's what I said. Okay, that's what I'm saying. He's not.
I'm not comparing. I'm not comparing like that.
He's not that. I'm just saying that's what. But I'm saying when you do that, if he's not a top 3, you can't say Kelce is not top 3 then, because bro, Kelce is top 3. Like he's not playing like Gronk, bro. He's not doing that.
But an
If he was,
explanation to me, you
if he
just
was,
said he just top 3 because, bro. Like what?
no, I said no,
Because of,
I said if he's not, he's top 3. If Gronk is not top 3 because of how he played, Travis is definitely top 3 because how he plays. Travis he's a finesse type of guy. He's running routes. He's getting out of bounds, right? He's to the sideline. I'm not taking no hits. Gronk took a whole bunch of hits, run his face through everything. That's the type of tight end he was. Travis is definitely running top tier routes, getting open.
he just all right. We can't go through highlights right now, guys, because we don't want to get flagged on YouTube, especially with them coming from the NFL as well too. We know how they play about that,
Yeah, they don't play.
so we not going to do that. But if we go in there and look, you always see it's just him finding just an opening in the coverage. He found a loophole within what they're doing within their scheme in the defense, being able to find the open area, and he just sits right there and waits for Patrick Mahomes to get the ball, and he follows him throughout as well too. We have seen it a lot to where he goes up, get to his area. Once Pat start moving around, that's when he moving around with him as well too. So it's just you see how his body just know how to flow with the best quarterback in the league, which is why they're the best duo in the league. I'm that's a fact. But you can be the best duo in the league without him being the top 3 route runner in the league.
Yep.
I'm for real,
All
for
right.
real, for real. I mean, speak your piece before we get out of here.
Let the people. I'll let the people decide.
Oh, they decided on Twitter right now. If you haven't, I mean, make sure to go check out my tweet and Arrowhead Live retweeted it as well too. Getting a lot of comments. Honestly, I feel like it's kind of even right now. I got more people that saying like no, but I have a lot of people that are saying yes as well too. Go to Facebook. We got some people agreeing saying yes, yes, but there's a lot of people that saying no as well too. Being honest, and like when they look at it, and these are people they're not Chiefs fans as well too. So we're taking the bias out of it. Now these people are not Chiefs haters. They respect what the Chiefs are doing. They understand Travis Kelce is one of the best in the league as well too. But when it comes to it, you are looking at guys who are dominating the league right now, like Justin Jefferson, um, uh, Devontae Adams. Regardless of what team he's on, he's still one of the best receivers in the league. You got Stephon Diggs who's playing lights out as well too. You have the Keenan Allens in the world. You got the Jamar Chases. You got the T Higgins. You got all those guys. I'm just saying.
Oh, they all good. They all great, but I'll let the people speak. I'm done. I said my piece on it.
All right. Okay. But before we end it off, we do have one slight thing we want to talk about real quick. Justyn Ross. A lot of people are starting to think he's going to be the odd man out on that 53-man roster. How you feel about that?
Yeah, I hope he's not the odd man out for sure. I hope he shows up ready to work and ready to go. I don't want him to be the odd man out. If he does, like I said, I see him making another team, and that'll be one that we regret for sure. But like you said, we're banking on a lot of potential there with Justyn Ross. So I don't know. I want him to make the 53. I think he makes. Lonny says he makes the 53. I mean, he makes an impact on that 53. But like me and Dale were talking about, that room is loaded. Justin Watson got a 2-year deal, so that kind of X's out one of those spots right there. MVS is already locked down. You got Scott is coming back in. That's like the 2nd-round talent. That's there, and then you got Rashee Rice that's picked. So that's kind of like 4 spots already locked down. So he's in a dog fight there with Richie James and some other guys, Nico Remigio, and just other John Ross. He's in there in a dog fight with some guys trying to make that and get a spot in that room. So we'll just see. I hope he makes the roster. If not, I feel like he's going to make somebody else's roster.
Sorry about that. They think Nico can possibly get picked up by another team. I think that could happen. So just keep in mind like that, because we talk about how loaded that room is, and he was a later round pick, or I think an undrafted guy, right? So depending practice squad if nobody picks him up, but Justyn Ross, sad to say it, like I just been keep on going through it, and then just kind of like weighing all the factors, and I think he's only reason why I think he's the odd person out, the odd man out, is just because Richie James has that special team ability with him to where we'll rather have him out there on punt returns, even kick returns as well too. And he's someone who was productive on the offenses in as well. He had some phenomenal plays out there in San Francisco. He had one of his better seasons up there in New York as well too. So with Justyn Ross, we understand he had that neck injury, and we know people came back from that as well too. But it's his only solid and best season that we saw was that freshman year that he had with Trevor Lawrence, right? And they won that national championship game. So we understand what he can do because if healthy, he was going to be a first round talent, first round pick
Sure, no doubt.
for sure. Right now, I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to put him in the practice squad right now. I gotta wait to train. I gotta wait to preseason.
Well, yeah, let's see.
I need him. I need him to ball out to where we can't deny, and we're okay with still keeping Tony and Pacheco back there at kick return, and then possibly Scott Moore having to step in. I understand we have other options we can do with that as well too. That's what people making an argument of. But will the Chiefs actually bank on that with someone who was an undrafted rookie who's coming into his second season where he didn't play all year and he was on the injury reserve list? I understand that.
Let's see.
That's banking a lot.
Yeah,
That might they might feel like that's too much of a reach and they don't want to make a dumb mistake.
yeah,
That's all.
sure,
That's all.
sure.
Because honestly, I don't think if he was to go to practice squad, could he possibly get picked up somewhere else for them to go to another practice squad and then move him up? Maybe so. But
It
at the
depends on how
same,
injuries, because injuries happen too.
yeah,
So
it
we got to take
happens.
all of that into account. So it just depends. Let's see how stuff shakes out. See what
But
injuries
he'll
come,
be the
because injuries will come.
I think he'll be the last decision though that they make to see. Like I think they will like if it comes to that to where they have to cut down to that 53 man. I think it will be to where they have final conversations on like, so are we good with Richie or are we going with Justyn? If Richie has a disappointing preseason, then he might be in there. But if I think if we see him make like a game changing play, like in a preseason game, like on a punt return or a kick return, he take one to the crib or it flips the field. I think they might be like, okay, we might want to go with him, and we see the consistency on offense. But anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
Nope.
All right. So that's all we have for this episode of Chiefin With Daily Dale. Make sure to follow all our social media platforms, KC Sports Company on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Make sure to follow me on Facebook at Dale Fowler Jr. Follow me on Twitter at Dale E. Fowler. Follow me on Instagram at Daily underscore Dale 39. Make sure to follow Lonny as well, too, on Instagram underscore Lano, LONO underscore. And then on Twitter underscore Lano, LONNO. All right. So, final words for the people before we out of here.
Uh, Nothing. It was good. We enjoyed it. I enjoyed this argument. Let us chime in and let us know what y'all think about the Travis Kelce
Yeah,
stuff.
tap
I
in.
know he's top 3. He's top 3, not 3 for sure, and he not 3 for sure.
All right. Make sure to drop your comments under there. We'll definitely keep on debating this in the future. All right. Talk to y'all next time.